So will Russia actually invade Ukraine? Let's find out in the video. So for those of you who don't know why Russia might invade Ukraine, the reason why Russia wants to invade Ukraine is because Ukraine actually wants to join NATO, while Russia wants to prevent them from joining NATO because they're obviously their countries are close. We'll get to the map later on the global map, but their countries are actually very close. In fact, Russia is next door to Ukraine, and Ukraine is next door, just like how United States is next door to Mexico, and United States is next door to Canada. It's the same way. Russia is like the United States to Mexico. That's what it basically is. So literally, they're next door, and that's even worse for Vladimir Putin, because not only they're going to join, not only Ukraine wants to wants to join NATO, but they're next door, so that's even worse. They don't want someone next door to join NATO, especially next door. So yeah, that's the main reason why. For those who don't know why Putin might invade Ukraine, the reason why is because Ukraine wants to join NATO, while Russia does not want them to. So Russia isn't showing force with and exercising their military, as you guys all know. So just to clarify how it all started, Russia doesn't want them joining NATO. That's basically all it. So basically, Joe Biden's prediction is that he thinks Russia will move in and make a move and eventually invade Ukraine. So that's Biden's prediction. So Biden does actually think that Ukraine will end up invading Russia will end up invading Ukraine. So that's Biden's take on this. He does think they will. The United States' current Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, is actually going to meet up with Russia's foreign minister tomorrow, which is Friday. So yeah, the United States Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, will be meeting up with Russia's foreign minister to see, if whether we can make a deal and, try to get peace out of this instead of actually going to war. Because this is my prediction. If the meeting tomorrow on Friday with Tony Blinken, Secretary of State, U.S. Secretary of State Tony Blinken, and Russia's foreign minister does not go on as planned, and what I mean does not go on as planned is that they don't really get much of an agreement. So basically, if they don't get an agreement, if they don't really, get anything done tomorrow, I think Putin will get tired of this and make a move. And by the way, the Russians are very smart. Their military equipment, we'll get to that later, may not be that good because it's kind of outdated, but they're smart. How they do things. Jen Psaki actually mentioned that they will be prepared, and Jen Psaki in the White House actually is aware of that Russia could use cyber attacks and other sneaky attacks, I should say. But yeah, if we don't get a move, if we don't get a deal done tomorrow with Tony Blinken and Russia's foreign minister, then I feel like Putin will make a sneaky move slowly. But if we do get some sort of deal, maybe to calm Putin down, to calm Russia down, then maybe you'll see them start to send their troops back out of Ukraine's borders. But we'll see. And I think there's a huge chance that they will attack. And the reason why is because, for those who don't know, what you should know by now, is Russia sent over 100,000 troops to Ukraine's borders. And they have so many areas to attack, whether it's the eastern border between Ukraine and Russia, whether it's the western border between Ukraine and Russia, whether it's the southern border between Ukraine and Russia, whether it's the eastern border. They have so many opportunities to get them. And Ukraine is not in good hands, but with United States help, it's a little bit better for them. Because obviously the United States is very tough to attack or to fight. But yeah, they sent, I believe they sent 130,000 troops to Ukraine's borders. And not only that, they also sent thousands of tanks to Ukraine's borders as well. And one advantage that the U.S. has over Russia is that the United States tanks are not outdated. Russia's tanks are actually outdated, meaning they haven't really updated their tanks. It's still from the modern days. They have modern tanks, I would say. They haven't updated their tanks, so like it's still from like their tanks are still from back then. You know what I'm saying? Like it's outdated. So their tanks kind of don't have the features that the United States tanks have and other tanks have right now. Because the thing is, they do have more tanks than the United States. So one advantage Russia, let's get comparing military. So one advantage Russia has over the United States is they have more tanks, right? They have more tanks than the United States. But one advantage the US has over Russia is that Russia's tanks are outdated. You know, Russia may have more tanks than the United States, but it's basically quantity over quality. What the US is doing is what the US is doing is quality over quantity. So what Russia's doing is quantity over quality. So what Russia's doing is they have more tanks, but you know, it's a little bit less quality. What the United States is doing is they have less tanks than Russia, but higher tanks. Higher quality tanks in Russia. So US has, you know, less tanks than Russia, but at least it's higher quality. But the Russia is taking quantity over quality. They're taking more tanks, but weaker tanks. But the US is taking stronger tanks, but less tanks. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically, at this point, would you rather have more tanks, but, you know, a little bit low quality of tanks? Or would you rather have less tanks, but those tanks that you have are higher quality? So it's either, would you rather take quantity over quality? The US is taking quality over quantity. Russia is taking quantity over quality. You know what I'm saying here? So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's quantity over quality between these two with tanks. If for those of you who do follow me on TikTok, if you want a shout out, so I'm gonna start doing shout outs again. If you want a shout out, go follow me on TikTok. Link in the description down below, and let me know in the comment section down below if you follow me on TikTok. So go follow me and then go tell me in the comment section down below that you did follow me. And by the way, don't lie, because I can see who follows me, because it tells you. TikTok tells you. Yeah, obviously TikTok tells me who follows me. So don't trick me. Like if I see your comment and then I don't get a follow from you, you're gonna be lying. So Russia has allies, but has very few allies. I mean, they only have China and Afghanistan as their allies. I believe Afghanistan and China and North Korea a little bit are both their allies. All three of them are their allies. But the problem is Russia's allies can't get involved with this one. You know, Russia may have strong allies, but their allies can't get involved with this problem just yet. But the thing with the United States, their allies is the UK and these British countries like the UK and much more, and like Ukraine. Obviously, we're helping Ukraine, but the United States allies can get involved into this one, because some of the allies that United States have actually are supposed to get involved. So that's one advantage the United States have. United States allies can get involved, while Russia's allies cannot get involved. You know what I'm saying? Like Russia's allies cannot get involved with this one, but the United States allies can get involved with this one. So the UK can help Ukraine, while the United States also can help Ukraine. So this is going to be a big disaster for Russia. And that's one thing. I think Putin is smart enough not to make a move, because he knows if he makes a move, not only Ukraine is going to try to defend itself, but they're going to have to, in order to take on Ukraine, they're going to have to go through the United States, and that's tough. And then they're going to have to take on UK plus that. So, I mean, Putin's not dumb enough, you know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that, you know, kind of makes it a possibility that the UK, I mean, Russia will not invade them, because they know that they're going to have to go through, not only they're going to have to try to get through Ukraine, but they're going to have to get through the United States and UK. Because UK, there's a high chance they will get involved. Because if the UK sees the United States stepping in, then the UK will go behind the United States and help them with Ukraine. So yeah, so if the UK, so here's the thing. The question is, will the UK get involved and help Ukraine? And I think there's only one way to find out. The UK only will help Ukraine fight Russia only if the US helps Ukraine. So if the US helps Ukraine, then I think UK has to step in, and they will. But only if the US helps. But if the US does not help Ukraine, then UK is going to step back. It's obvious. But yeah, if the UK steps in, if the US steps in to help Ukraine, then UK obviously will. But if the US will not, then chances are UK will probably not help them as well. So, but I think if Russia does make an invasion, the United States will help, and also the UK will help as well. So my prediction is, if there is a war between this, the US will get in. Obviously, the US is going to get in, and the UK. So I think the countries in this war is going to be Russia versus Ukraine versus UK versus the United States. So Russia's going to have to take on 3 countries in order to invade Ukraine. Think about it. So that's one thing that makes me feel like Russia is not going to invade Ukraine, because Putin's not that stupid. He knows he's going to have to take on 2 other countries, UK and US, if they do invade. But one thing that is making me think that they will invade is how many troops they sent to the border and how many tanks they sent to the border. You know, that could be just for show and they want to flex their military, which I get. But who the hell sends over 100,000 troops to the border, thousands of tanks, for nothing? I mean, if you send that many troops to the border, over 100,000, and thousands of more tanks to the border, then you must have to do something. I mean, they're not just going to send so much of their equipment and so much of their military just for nothing, for no reason. I mean, they have to do something. I mean, if they're going to send that much, 100,000 troops and thousands more tanks to Ukraine, they're not going to send that much for nothing. I mean, maybe if they send less than 100,000 troops, maybe they would not invade. But that's a lot of troops, and that's a lot of tanks. Like, they bring, like, at least half of their military. Maybe not half of their military. But if they're going to bring so much of military, then yeah, something's up. They got to do something. Like, they have to use that 100,000 troops. I mean, who brings, think of this, who brings over 100,000 troops and then does nothing and then brings them back? That makes no sense. Why are you just going to waste their time? I mean, if you bring 100,000 troops, if you send 100,000 troops to the border, you're obviously going to have to do something. You're not just going to waste their time. So, yeah, I mean, you're not going to send 100,000 troops for nothing. That's a lot of troops. So that's one thing that's making me feel like they will attack, because no one sends 100,000 troops for nothing, and tanks as well. And by the way, another thing that makes me feel like they will attack is, if you haven't seen footage of Russian troops practicing with targets, they're practicing war. Not make a difference, but it tells you something that they are ready for war. So, but I don't understand how Russia thinks it can take on 3 countries: Ukraine, UK, and the United States, especially United States. I don't get it. But one thing that is a green light for Putin is, look at the United States president. The United States president is a weak president at this point. If this was President Trump, Putin would know not to mess with the United States. But since this is Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, I would say, in office right now, that's a green light for Putin. The U.S. has a weak president right now. 2 years ago, the U.S. had a good president. That's why Putin didn't make any moves. But now, they are making moves. And it shows that each day. And the reason why is because he knows the United States doesn't have a real leader. You know, he knows that the United States military overall, just a military, is... So the United States military is what, afraids Putin. So it's the United States military that's the issue for Putin. It's not the president. So Joe Biden I think Joe Biden, if we do get into a war, he's going to make stupid moves just like he did in Afghanistan. And then he's, Joe Biden is not going to utilize our military to its full strength, to its full potential. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna use our strong, powerful military, the most powerful in the world, not to its most strongest point, but he's gonna use our military to make it look weak. So if this is Trump, he would use our military to its most powerful, powerfulest strength. But Joe Biden, he's gonna utilize our military, with with our weaknesses, kind of. He's not gonna utilize our military with our strengths. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have the strongest, most powerful military, and Joe Biden's not gonna utilize our military to its full potential. Like, he's not gonna use our strongest military at all. And that's what bothers me. So Putin knows there's a green light since Joe Biden is the president. Because if Joe Biden wasn't the president, there's a less chance that Putin would invade. So I think there is a higher chance Putin will invade because Joe Biden is the president. If Joe Biden was never the president, I think there would be a less chance Putin will invade. So, there's a lot of pros and cons about if Putin will invade, and that's one con. That's one pro, actually, that Putin will invade. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's my take on this. So, overall, it's about that deal tomorrow. So, if Tony Blinken does end up cranking a deal with their foreign minister, then I think Putin will kind of calm down if they kind of make a deal. There could be this deal where Ukraine still joins NATO while, the United States, gives a little something, like a little present to Russia, kind of to calm them down, but I don't think that's going to work. I think NATO just can't join. I think Ukraine can't join NATO. They just can't. Even if we give something to Russia and Ukraine still joins NATO, that's not going to be it. I mean, Putin really doesn't want them to join NATO. So, even if we give something to Russia, even if we make a deal with Russia, it just can't be that Ukraine joins NATO. They just can't. Joe Biden being president is the biggest green light for Putin, in my opinion. So let me know your takes on this. Do you agree with me? And what do you think is going to happen? Is Tony Blinken going to make a deal with Russia's foreign minister? Let me know in the comment section down below. And do you think we'll be getting a war? And do you think the UK will back up? Do you think the UK will back up Ukraine if the United States gets involved? Let me know down in the comment section below. Let me know everything, your takes on this, in the comment section down below. And don't forget, follow me on TikTok. Goodbye. Yeah, this is the most dramatic war, they said, since the Cold War. So that's pretty crazy. So that tells you something. There's a high chance they're going to invade. And by the way, you know what's crazy? They put bushes and they put green leaves on top of their tanks as disguise. So if they really spend that much time into their military, then yeah, something's up. They're likely going to invade. And the truth is, they are likely going to invade. And yeah, that's what I think. They're likely going to invade. That's the truth. They are likely going to invade. If this was Trump, it would be a red light for Putin, and that's the truth. So, yeah, Joe Biden being president already makes the U.S. weaker, which is what people were saying in my TikTok comment section. They were saying Joe Biden is the green light for Putin, and that's the truth. So, let me know your opinion down in the comment section below. Do you think Joe Biden is the green light for Putin? Because I know many people agree with me in the comment section down below. Follow me on TikTok, and if we were to get into a war, what do you think will happen? Give me your takes on this.